Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into a truly fascinating essay by Feng titled The Confusion of Quantum Mechanics. You know, the author sets up this really profound premise right from the get-go. Humanity is basically stumbling around in the dark. We continually struggle and despair with the unknown, especially when it comes to what happens after death. We're blindly navigating our own existence. But here's the twist. The essay suggests that quantum mechanics, that incredibly complex branch of physics, might actually be the exact breakthrough we need. It could be the way to organically link human consciousness and physical matter. It's a massive, bold framework. So today, we're going to map out exactly how the author connects the bizarre subatomic world to our very deepest spiritual questions. Now, to really grasp this, we have to realize that quantum mechanics didn't just confuse everyday people like you and me. It completely unsettled the actual founders of the field. Take Schrödinger, for instance, the literal father of the wave function. He actually confessed that his true regret was getting confused by quantum mechanics. And Einstein? He was just as disturbed by it. The author points out that this profound confusion didn't just stay in the lab, it rippled through the entire scientific community, and really humanity as a whole, fundamentally challenging our entire grip on reality. But before we get totally lost in the physics of it all, the author makes this sweeping, really provocative claim about human nature. It's about the very real danger of blind faith. The argument here is that whether you're a Christian who doesn't truly understand the Creator, or a Buddhist who doesn't comprehend the Buddha, or honestly, even a scientist who doesn't grasp the true essence of science, you're basically engaging in self-deception. The point is, whatever your belief system happens to be, if you fail to seek out its deeper essence, you are just blindly anesthetizing yourself.
Okay, let's get into Act 1, the illusion of matter. We're going to look at the first three confusions here, which question the very fabric of physical reality.
Right, so confusion number one. When we zoom all the way down into the subatomic world, what is reality actually made of? Are we looking at concrete, tiny little particles, or are they abstract waves? Or does it have some sort of wave-particle duality? The author asks a genuinely great question here. If these foundational building blocks are just abstract waves, how do they actually function to build the solid concrete reality we interact with every single day?
And that brings up a really fascinating application of Heisenberg's famous uncertainty principle. The logic here is structured beautifully. The material world is made of atoms, right? And atoms are made of subatomic particles. Well, if that foundational absolute bottom layer is fundamentally uncertain, then our entire reality is uncertain. The author even goes so far as to question whether the greatest creator manages the universe by just, rolling dice. Because if everything is random at its core, does humanity actually have a bright future? Is there any meaning at all in spiritual cultivation?
Building on that thought, the author takes this quantum blurriness and applies it directly to religion for the third confusion. Think about it. If Heisenberg is right, and absolute knowledge simply does not exist, what happens to religious certainty? Take Jesus, for example, who stated he was the door to truth. As the essay points out, if reality is fundamentally uncertain, then finding this door becomes impossible. I mean, where can you even find an uncertain door? Does it even exist at all?
Moving right along to Act 2, the observer and reality. Here, the author dramatically shifts focus from what the universe is physically made of to the mind-bending, reality-altering power of the observer.
So this brings us to the sixth confusion, which captures what is easily the strangest rule of quantum mechanics. Observation actually creates reality. The author uses this incredibly vivid metaphor. They suggest it's as if an unobserved particle acts like a running cat, but the literal second a human looks at it, that mere act of observation instantly transforms it into a flying owl. It completely shatters our standard assumption that the world just keeps acting the exact same way when our backs are turned.
Taking that whole observer effect a step further into the seventh confusion, if observation literally creates reality, and quantum mechanics allows for multiple realities to exist at once, the author suggests a pretty staggering conclusion: a multiverse. There must logically be countless human worlds or alternative realities out there in the universe that exist, quite simply because they just haven't been observed by us yet.
And then the ninth confusion directly challenges the entire concept of objective reality.
The author points out that quantum mechanics actually aligns perfectly with some deeply idealistic philosophies. Think of Descartes famously saying, "I think, therefore I am," or the core Buddhist teaching that all phenomena are created by the mind. The essay asks a really heavy question. If reality cannot exist independently of an observer, do things exist at all when I'm not looking at them? Is there any objective reality whatsoever, or is our subjectivity the only true reality?
Which brings us to Act 3, Breaking Space and Time. This is undoubtedly the most surreal portion of the essay, where the everyday, reliable rules of causality completely break down.
For the fourth confusion, the author asks a genuinely wild question. Where is my other self? Now, conventionally, you obviously can't be in two places at once, but quantum mechanics says subatomic particles absolutely can appear simultaneously in multiple, completely unrelated places. The author's logic is pretty direct here. Humans are ultimately just collections of particles, so if our foundational building blocks can exist in multiple places simultaneously, then maybe humans might also exist in different spaces and times all at once. Crazy, right? Next up, the fifth confusion contrasts two vastly different views of the universe. So, in the predictable, classical world, we can calculate things like solar eclipses with perfect precision, relying on strict causality. It's like karma, the idea that good begets good and evil begets evil. But down in the subatomic world, specific events are not determined by cause and effect. Some things just happen. The author notes that if the universe operates without strict causality, life honestly starts to feel like a random, unpredictable gamble.
And that leads us straight into the highly confusing eighth paradox, which is a complete short circuit of linear time. The essay proposes a scenario where quantum reality might literally let you delete the past, say by preventing your parents from ever meeting. Yet, paradoxically, you somehow still know your past, you replicate your future, and you are still born on Earth. It's like you stop them, but you absolutely cannot stop yourself.
The final 10th confusion introduces the mind-boggling phenomenon of twin protons, or what we call quantum entanglement. The author marvels at how these twin particles maintain this instant mutual telepathy. Regardless of how far apart they are in the entire universe, they connect instantly. This connection just entirely transcends space and time. It operates without a measurable speed or at a speed that vastly exceeds the speed of light. It really begs the question, what kind of impossible, magical speed is this?
Okay, resolution. Science meets spirituality. Let's see exactly how the author synthesizes all 10 of these incredible confusions into a really profound message of ultimate hope.
So the author's central thesis here is that all of this intense confusion, it's not a dead end, not at all. Instead, Shufeng views quantum mechanics as a massive, positive breakthrough in human thought. Because the subatomic world operates on rules that honestly sound a lot like ancient mysticism, it promises a bright future where science, philosophy, and religion no longer have to contradict each other. Instead, they can finally sit down, share the exact same boat, and coexist harmoniously.
Now, you might be wondering how the author actually resolves all these wild paradoxes. Well, the answer lies in what they term holographic thinking. This method prioritizes beautiful, overarching leaps of consciousness rather than getting totally bogged down in restrictive, minute scientific details. The author suggests that if we focus too much on the granular math, it actually ruins the overall beauty of time and space. Instead, they advocate for a much broader, more holistic perception of reality.
And that brings us to the author's ultimate provocation. The essay deeply challenges us to stop clinging to our outdated classical beliefs. If we can just accept the beautiful chaos of the quantum world, our minds might actually be able to soar freely. So we'll leave you with this. Is embracing this ultimate scientific confusion actually the very key to truly understanding yourself? It's definitely something to deeply consider as you go about your solidly structured yet fundamentally uncertain day. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.